Hello. I'm talking to two cameras, just so you know. I've got my Instagram friends and I've got my YouTube friends, and I'm doing all of this live. And as you can see, Prince, of course, is joining us today, and he loves helping. So I hope he doesn't distract you. But I wanted to do a couple of things with you today that have really helped me when I'm recovering from the illness. And I know a lot of people now and in the future might need a little pathway on their way back from recovering from a respiratory illness, such as COVID-19 or the flu. And I recently got sick in my respiratory area, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I did to bridge that gap and get back into fitness again. So, my disclaimer, of course, is that this is not a healing regimen. This is not designed to diagnose or treat any illness. It is for when you're recovering from an illness and you just need that next step back into fitness and feeling well again. Okay. Anytime while we're doing this work, if you feel woozy or breathless or sick, I need you to stop and contact a medical professional or follow the protocol of your medical professional, because oxygen is everything. And if we start to lose the breath and we start to lose the oxygen going into our bloodstream and up to our brains, it will worsen our condition and it could be very dangerous. So please be aware of those symptoms of dizziness, wooziness, nausea. That could indicate that your breath is not getting where it needs to be, okay? But this is designed to sort of help you reopen and readjust some areas that might have gotten constricted and tight from when you weren't feeling well. And we're going to start from a seated position. So you can see I'm sitting on the floor today. I actually have a pillow underneath my hips. You can sit on a block. You can be sitting on a chair, because what I want is a nice straight wind tube to go from your sinus cavities in your head down to your lungs. So it won't help you if you're rolled forward like this. It's going to be very constricting. I want you to be upright and tall. And if you're struggling to get upright and tall, sometimes sitting in a chair can help with that. Or if you can't even sit up in a chair, I want you lying on your back with your head and your shoulders down, your knees bent, and your feet on the floor, okay? Because we're just starting here. We're starting with basic breath work. Now, I want you to start practicing. Excuse me, Prince needs to go say hello to his dad that just pulled in. I want you to start practicing breathing into your entirety of your lungs, which live underneath your rib cage, and expanding your diaphragm, which is the muscle that lives underneath your lungs, okay? So in order to do that, I want you to roll your shoulders down and back, get them settled down in your shoulder girdle, and then I want you to take your fingers to the lowest part of your rib cage in the front and your thumbs to the two lowest ribs that you can find in the back, and just sort of hug your ribs in there. This is the area that we want to expand in order to expand our lungs all the way around. So, you know, our lungs take up this whole massive space, front, side, and back. And a lot of times when we're sick, we end up shallow because taking a full breath is uncomfortable when they're congested or tight or constrained. So we want to reignite all of that into air back into the lungs. Breathing into your thumbs and exhaling. Breathing into your thumbs and exhaling. We're going to stay here for a little while, and I'm going to show you what my hands look like. So my hands are around my rib cage. I want you to keep breathing while I'm talking to you. And when I breathe in, I can feel a 360-degree expansion of my rib cage all the way into my thumbs and my back body. And then when I exhale, I can feel the rib cage close closer together. So that expansion happens in a 360-degree way. It is not pushing air down into my pelvis. It is not pushing air up into my chest. It is pushing air all the way around the lung cavities, which then activates the diaphragm, which allows air into the space, which allows for more spaciousness for oxygen, and does an incredible amount of things for your bloodstream, for your oxygen levels, for your pelvic floor, and for your core health. So never ignore that breath work series, okay? We're still there, breathing in. And your breath might be longer or shorter than mine. And also, you might be stopping to cough. Because if you haven't used these little sections of your lungs in a while, it might be reigniting some things or unplugging some things, and then it can make you kind of coughy. And if you're getting stuff up, then get it up. Go ahead and cough it out, get it up, drink some water, come back when you're ready to follow up with the next section of the exercise, okay? So after we're done breathing here, we're going to continue paying attention to that breath, and we're going to go now into the sinuses. And so your sinuses might have felt congested while you were not feeling well. I want you to feel the area underneath your eye sockets and across the bridge of your nose. And then I want you to start circling your eyes around your eye sockets. So up around the eyebrows, down around to the bridge of the nose. Breathing as you're going. Just find a pace of that same lung expansion. Breathing all the way into your lungs. Expanding 360 degrees. Breathing out and feeling the rib cage come in closer. Breathing in through your nose if you possibly can. Now, if your nose is still really congested, you might be mouth breathing still. But if you can do any of your breath work through your nose, that'll help with your passages as well. And then we're going to take our fingers and we're just going to lightly tap down here underneath the eye socket. So it's that area right between the cheekbone and the eye socket, lightly tapping. And you're breathing. Again, we're super, super light here, and then go up over the eyebrows into this area of your forehead because there's a nice big sinus in there too. When you were sick, you might have felt that sinus congested or it might have been painful. There are sinuses all over your head. These are the ones that sometimes can feel like they're in a vice when you get congested, as well as the one on top of your head. There's even one on the back of your head that can feel congested. And then we're going to do a little bit of lymphatic drainage technique. And so I want you to take your fingers like you're on Star Trek, like this, and I want you to go on the front and back side of your ears. Your lymphatic system is just below the skin surface. It's not deep. We're not doing deep muscle work here. We're doing skin level work to drain out the passages from your sinuses. Yes, really. Make sure that your neck is nice and tall. Make sure that you're still getting that full 360-degree breath. And we're just lightly grazing the side of the face and down towards the collarbone because that is your lymphatic drainage system. So if something is stuck there, this is going to help with those passages and help you breathe a little bit easier. Something that really helped me when I was sick was heat. So a heating pad on the chest during the day, or taking a little steam bath to the face. Very helpful for opening up passageways. Let's do a couple more like that. And you can hang out here for a while too. This lymphatic drainage, depending on what's stuck in your sinuses and in your face, it's going to really help. And then I want you to find the area right above your collarbone. So it's right here above your collarbone, between your neck and your collarbone. And then you just lightly just sort of press down just a little bit. And that pumps the lymphatic drainage system to allow things to drain. While you're doing that, you might actually feel it start draining down your throat, which is kind of creepy and weird. You might need to stop and drink water. You might need to cough some of it out. That's all okay. Your body's process is to have these mucus membranes fight an illness and then express the mucus membranes. That's just part of it. And just a few more like that. Remember, you can come back to this anytime. And then hands are going to settle on the knees. So if you're on a chair, your hands are settled on your knees. If you're sitting on the floor, just like me. And we're going to start working into our spinal system. So our spines need to be very, very mobile in order for all of these systems to work correctly. And sometimes the area around our spine can get tight and stiff when we're not feeling well. So we're going to start by doing what I call stirring the pot. So you're going to pretend like your pelvis here is the pot and your spine is the spoon, and you're just sort of going around and around the pot. Start small. Your head's going to stay up and your hip bones are going to stay down. So you've got this little stirring motion happening around your pelvis. Try to keep your legs still, if at all possible. Depending on the tightness of your hips, that might or might not be possible. Just do the best you can. And then we're going to go the other way. I'm just stirring around. And also, as I'm going through this, I want my mind to start touching base with what's happening in my core area, in the center of my body, what is happening here. So I should be able to feel the navel drawing up and in, and the muscles in the center of my body connecting closer to each other while still doing the breath practice of expansion in 360 degrees. Very cool, right? Okay, now stop in the middle, and we're going to do a seated cat-cow stretch. Anytime during this exercise, if your head can't go below your heart without you getting lightheaded or feeling weird, just make sure you keep your head up, okay? Breathe in and expand the chest forward. So it's a little mean, lean forward, shoulders back, look up slightly. This might make you cough too if you haven't done this in a while. And then as you exhale, I want you to scoop your belly in around your spine and tuck under. Look down at your navel. That's your exhale. On your inhale, roll forward. Allow extension and expansion of the spine and the chest. And as you exhale, I want you to tuck your chin, if you can, and tuck your tailbone under you and around your spine. Pretend like you're adding space in between every vertebra. Breathe in to expand through your chest. Exhale to stretch and flex your spine. Let's do one more like that. Breathing in here. And exhaling here. How are we feeling so far? Are we starting to feel a little bit more limber? Okay, so now let's work on our neck. So our neck might have felt like this. It might have felt super constricted for a while. We want to have it nice and loose and open. So chin down as far as it's willing to go without making you feel yucky. Keep the shoulders down and back, and we're just going to roll from one side to the other, not back. Just one side to the other, nice and easy. Breathe in. Exhale as you bring your ear towards your shoulder. Keep your shoulder down. So the shoulder's not coming up to meet the ear. You're just stretching out the side of your neck. Nice and easy. And breathing. And not rolling anything out. Just keeping the shoulders down and back. And whatever you can do is what you can do. So never overstretch your neck. We don't want any pain there. We want it to feel nice and long and relaxed. Now, if you're like me, it might feel like guitar strings right now. Like I feel so much tension here in the side of my neck. It's incredible. That's the top of the trapezius muscle. And so I'm going to stop here, and I want to invite you to do this too. Stop with one ear towards your shoulder. Make sure that your shoulders are down, back, and away from your ears. And take your opposite hand and put it at a point of tension in that guitar string feeling muscle, okay? So 2 fingers in sort of the halfway point between this bony section of your shoulder and your neck, and then just press straight into it. And take some breaths here. Release that, and we're going to come around to the other side, which might feel tighter or less tight. Keep the shoulders down and back, opposite hand, 2 fingers in that little space on that guitar string. Just nice and easy, press into it. And set that down. Okay, now for this next section, I'm going to lay on my belly. If you're not comfortable laying on your belly, stay seated where you are and imitate the same movements that I'm about to do. So I'm going to move my pillow out of the way, and I'm actually going to have a block close by to rest my forehead, because sometimes I just need to rest my neck and forehead. So I'm coming all the way down to the floor, forehead on my block or on the floor or on a pillow or whatever you need for right now. Okay. And my hands are out by my sides and my shoulders are relaxed. So my elbow is next to my shoulders. My arms are in 90 degrees. What I want to do here is sort of open up the chest and the front of the shoulder. So I'm going to take a breath in. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift my head and just expand my chest open while my shoulders stay relaxed and down. And coming back down towards the floor. So it's little. It's little, and I'm not pushing myself into a position. I'm extending and expanding through my spine and opening my chest. And that's all. Even if you don't move at all, you're doing something by just extending and expanding to wherever you are today. Just nice and easy, little tiny lifts. If you're in a chair, you're just expanding that chest and extending your spine and relaxing your shoulders down. Nice and easy. You want some extension and expansion, and we are not pushing the belly out. So keep the belly button hugging in towards your spine and up towards your heart. Keep that area engaged throughout to protect your lower back and keep your core muscles nice and stable. Yeah, nice and easy here. Let's do one more like that. And come all the way down. I'm going to rest my head, and you're welcome to as well. Now I'm going to be lifting my arms off the ground. So just lift and lower, keeping the belly pulling away from the floor. And again, you can do this from a seated position. What we're doing is we're activating the area around the shoulder girdle, because when we're sick, a lot of times that area is underactivated. We end up rolled forward and too hunched into our chest. And then when we're trying to come out of that position, we'll find sometimes that our upper back is just not supporting us anymore. So this little activity helps with that muscle engagement to support our proper posture, which protects our lungs, our core muscles, keeps us upright, helps in all areas of life. Just nice and easy. It doesn't have to be real big. It's just enough to engage those muscles underneath and behind your shoulders. Now let's do one more like that. And then set the arms down. I'm going to move the block out of my way. We're going to do some shoulder stretching. So I want you to stretch your right arm straight out from where it is. Bend your left knee. Put your left hand underneath your left shoulder. I want you to keep the right palm down. Push with your left hand and put your left toes down, if that's available to you. Now, if you're in a chair, all you're doing is stretching your right arm straight out from your shoulder and easing it back behind you. We're trying to open this area between the chest and the shoulder that might have been shortened due to being rolled forward when our lungs and our chest were not feeling their best and most open. Continue to breathe here. Do not force it. It's a nice, easy press open. And then ease yourself back down, and then the opposite side. So left arm straight out, right hand under right shoulder, bend the right knee. Take a breath, and as you exhale, just open. Set the toes down if it's available to you. Press gently to open that front of your shoulder. Your left palm is on the floor. Breathe into your lungs. Continue to just allow it to open. Should not be painful. If it's painful, I need you to reduce your range of motion or sit up and just open this same muscle by bringing your arm next to you and then stretch it back. Nice and easy. And then ease yourself down. Okay, we're going to be moving now into a child's pose. So start with your hands underneath your shoulders. Take a breath. As you exhale, come up to your knees. And then open the knees, put your toes together behind you, and send your hips back towards your heels. And then walk your hands all the way out and let your head rest if that's available to you. Now, if none of this is available to you, then you're sitting in a chair and you're just folding forward to the amount that you feel okay. So if it doesn't feel right to drop your head down yet, then don't do that yet. We're just allowing the spine to get nice and long and the arms and the shoulders to reach and stretch and get nice and long. We're breathing into those lungs. One more. And now we're just going to add a side stretch. So walk your hands to the right side of your mat. Think a little bit longer through your spine, or reach those fingers a little bit more, and then sit back with those hips. If you're on a chair, you're just reaching to the opposite side of your body. And that's all you need to do. We're opening up the side of the lungs and the oblique muscles to allow for more space. It might make you cough depending on where your congestion is. So allow yourself the space and time to cough that out. Breathe, drink water if you need it. Then ease yourself back through the middle, and then ease yourself towards the other side, which might feel different from the first. So give yourself a little bit of space, and then exhale and lengthen and stretch into that side of the body. Allow your head to come closer to the floor. Imagine adding space for your ribs. And then come back through the center. Now I'm going to be taking you into a pigeon stretch, for our final stretch of the day. This is because your hips actually probably got tight while you weren't feeling well, and perhaps laying or sitting a lot while you weren't feeling well. And pigeon stretch is just phenomenal for the hips. However, if you haven't done this in a long time, if your hips are super tight, it might be very difficult. So what you can do is sit in a chair, cross your legs. So pretend I'm sitting in a chair, cross your legs like this, and then fold over them. That way you can start to get that stretch in your hips. But if you're ready for pigeon stretch, you'll start with one leg to the front and the other leg behind you. And then we're slowly going to straighten this back leg while we turn our body to face the front leg. So this is an even stretch between both legs. We want the back leg nice and long, the hips to be even over both sides. So our goal is not to be to the side like this. Our goal is to be over both legs if that's available to you. And then you can also be lower. So you can come down to your forearms. I recommend not dropping your head, especially not right now. I recommend head, neck, spine, all in one nice long line, continuing that 360-degree breath. Forearms can be parallel to each other, shoulders down and back, and get those nice deep breaths into both hips. So you're going to feel it here in the front of the long leg and underneath your booty and the bent leg. And both are important. So that's what we want. We want nice, deep stretching here. And pigeon stretch is so useful that I use it every day. And it's one of those commercial break stretches. You can just you got 2 minutes for a commercial break, or you need to read something or whatever. Pigeon during that time. Take a couple of minutes, and it makes a huge impact on how your hips feel. And when your hips feel better, when they feel looser, you're more aligned, you have less pain, your back is going to feel amazingly better. It makes a huge, huge difference. So let's do the other side. Same idea. I'm just going to flip around here. So start here, and then you're going to bring this back leg to straight. Ease yourself up over both legs. Both legs matter. Find that length in the back leg. Find the evenness in your hips. And you can take it to the forearms if that's available to you. Or you're crossing your legs as you're sitting on a chair and just folding over it. Because it will get that nice open feeling in the area behind your glute and hamstring. That stiff stuff is called the IT band. And it can get super stiff when you're laying or sitting or just not feeling good. Take a couple more breaths here for me today. And then I want you to roll out of it and have a seat either on the floor or in your chair. How do you feel? Is it different now than it was a few minutes ago when we started this practice? Let's see how many minutes. We've been at it for 25 minutes now. Hopefully you're breathing a little bit easier. You've got a little more blood to the brain, feeling a little bit more like yourself. I want you to take a nice deep breath up. Press your palms together. Press, 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 and then exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Give yourself a little thank you for hanging out and enjoying this stretch today. Let's do it again. Breathe. Press your palms together. Exhale, hands to your heart. Tell yourself thank you for doing this for me today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're recovering from something, just little bits at a time, baby steps. Don't push yourself to do something too soon. You got to ease yourself back into it. And I promise if you take your time doing that, your body will thank you later. Have a great day. Thanks, everybody.